Good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, August 20th, and Season 2 of CLAHS has officially started. We are back for the fall season of this 2019-2020 season. What a spectacle it's going to be, not only on the football field, but as well as the court for volleyball. We got a bunch of things going on. One of the most exciting seasons of the year. School has started, the pencils are sharpened, and we are ready to rock. We got a bunch of games coming up this Friday for football, and we have already started with volleyball, starting as of last night. And we do have some scores from that. To kick it off, Shadow Hills faced off against Hemet, and Hemet took the W with a 3-0 match lead. Desert Mirage took on Desert Christian. Desert Christian came away with the win with a 3-0 match win as well. And Paloma Valley took on Xavier Prep, and Paloma Valley came out with the W as well with a match score of 3-1. So volleyball is right into the swing of things. It's going to be very exciting to be able to see these teams. We got a lot of good volleyball players here in the Valley. Kind of shocked to see Xavier Prep take a home opener loss, but I know that they're going to bounce back and be ready to go for league with no questions asked. We also have some other volleyball games coming up tonight. We have Desert Hot Springs taking on Norte Vista, Rancho Mirage playing against Cathedral City, Calipatria taking on Coachella Valley, and Desert Mirage taking on Southwest EC. Yokaipa is going to La Quinta, and it looks like all of those games, except for the La Quinta matchup, will be starting at 4:30. Coachella game is at 5:30, as well as the Desert Mirage game is at 6. So if you want to go check out your volleyball teams, this would be the time to do it. Get out there early and often, find out who the best players are, and see where your team stacks up. It's going to be an exciting season for sure. Can't wait to see what these girls do and how they lead their teams to not only division championships, but as well as CIF runs. It's been, we've been so excited here at CLAHS to be able to finally bring you some football action. This has been one of the most anticipated seasons of the year, and to be honest, all of the teams here in the Valley have some form or fashion an opportunity to possibly win not only a DEL or a DVL title, but make a big CIF run. We've had some changes in terms of the divisions for football, and we do have a few teams not only that received votes for the top 10, but a couple of teams that are in the top 10s respectively in their divisions. And we are going to go over those right now, starting off in Division 8. Palm Desert, who is the reigning DEL champs, they are ranked number 4 in the Division 8 preseason polls. So look for Palm Desert and Coach McCombs to make sure that his team is locked and loaded for this preseason and that they are on for another special run this year. Moving on to Division 9. In Division 9, Palm Springs comes in at number 5 in their top 10. Palm Springs does have a few seniors coming back that will help lead the way. But for me, I think the key is going to be from that quarterback position. If they can get good play from their quarterback, I can see them making a really good run there in Division 9. Another team receiving votes for Division 9 was La Quinta. La Quinta moving on into another direction here with their second year under Coach Rivenez, and it is going to be very interesting what they do with the talent that they have over there. Moving on, Division 10. No teams in the top 10 of Division 10, but Rancho Mirage did receive votes this year. I know that they're looking to get the bad taste out of their mouth from last year and be able to make some noise here in the DEL. Moving on to Division 11. Division 11, we have number 6, Xavier Prep. Xavier Prep has moved up along with the CIF champs from last year in Division 12, Linfield Christian, the team that knocked them out in the Final Four last year. So look for Xavier Prep to not only maintain in that top 10, but try to excel with the difficult schedule that they have. Most of the teams that they play will be in divisions higher than them. So look for them to really try to solidify themselves in Division 11 and make sure they can get into a playoff spot and make a playoff run there. Division 12, one of the top teams in Division 12 coming in at number 2 is Shadow Hills. Shadow Hills moved down a division this year, so look for them to really be one of the top dogs. They've been very successful in terms of winning seasons over the last couple of years, but just haven't been as successful in playoff runs. So I'm looking for them to really make a big splash this year in Division 12 and possibly bring home a CIF title. Another team probably would receive more top 10 votes, having not lost Donnie Fitzgerald to injury, but did receive some nominations, was Coachella Valley. But don't be surprised if you see Coachella Valley putting up the same, if not more points than last year. They do have a quarterback with some leadership skills that can get the football distributed to his guys. So don't be surprised if it's just status quo over there in Coachella Valley. And so far, those are our teams from the Valley that have been represented in each division as top 10 teams or teams looking to get into the top 10. They are some of the teams with most players coming back, or their schedule or record from last year was very successful. So that's, when we're looking at preseason is such a difficult thing to try to judge, just because you never know what a team actually has. You never know what they actually look like. Season to season, sometimes it doesn't really translate. So we're looking to see, what these teams do to start off, how they can really perfect what they have going on in this preseason. That way they're rolling into league play. The only problem is with these different playoff systems now with the divisions, it really makes a difference now with these preseason games. Who you're playing against, how close are you playing against them? Are you getting wins versus teams that are the same division as you or lower? Are you making it close for teams that are 3, 4, 5 divisions ahead of you? All of those points really add up and really give you a better chance at being there down the road when it comes playoff time. So all of these teams really have to really make their mark now. Otherwise, it could be on the outside looking in moving forward. We are also going to have our preseason class power rankings for football, our top 10 this year. Just kind of going off of what I've heard, teams from last year, what players are coming back, all of those things. But like I said, it's preseason, man. So you can't really hold these ones too close to a standard. But we are going to try to get them as close as possible, and I'll give you a reason why for each of these teams moving forward. I also wanted to get into, I was broached with this question from one of our viewers asking, why is fall such a anticipated season for sports, especially at the high school level? Or why is football one of the main sports that, is the one with the most attraction, the one that people mostly go out to, the one that you have most of the fans in the stands? Why is it that we get so excited for all of those things? And I'm going to give you a few reasons why I believe that's the case, and how a football season can really not only help generate buzz amongst your other athletes on campus, but how it also elevates your entire school as a whole. It's really incredible once you break it down and once you try to really understand what's going on, especially at a high school level. So we are going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we are going to dive right into those things. So this is CLAHS.
The Classic Club, home of the nationally recognized championship course designed by Arnold Palmer, creates a new spin on desert golf with rolling terrain, wide landing areas, and beautiful surprises around every corner. Bellatrix Restaurant and Bar at the Classic Club is the destination for good times and excellent food with Mediterranean, Asian, and French accents. We also feature traditional steaks, seafood, and an extensive wine list. All of this together is what makes the Classic Club the preferred destination for Valley residents and visitors. Come see for yourself.
And we are back in class. I am Michael KARLS, brought to you by Coachella Sports and Entertainment Stadium Authority, and I am here live at the beautiful Classic Club here in Palm Desert, enjoying a beautiful day here in the valley. Can't get much better than this with the light breeze, sunshine, not a cloud in the sky, and it's a great week to kick off the football season. We do have our power rankings, and we do also have our matchups coming up this week. This is the official start, week 1. This is what we've all been waiting for. It's going to be an exciting season for sure, especially with all of the talent here in the Valley, and it is going to be such a great time to be able to go out and see these guys excel at the highest level. We are going to first start off with our preseason power rankings for CLAHS. This is our top 10, and it will include DEL and DVL teams, just like we did for baseball, just like we did for basketball a little bit there. So be on the lookout for your favorite teams, and if you have any questions about it, be one of our insiders. Go to the games. Let us know what we need to see, what players to look out for. What guys that you want us to really take a look at. We do have an idea of some, but because it's the preseason and, you know, just giving the respect to the other coaches and the other teams, decided not to go out to any of the practices and let them do their thing, game plan, and get their guys right. So we will be out there sooner rather than later once the season is in full swing, and we'll be able to talk to some of these guys that are going to be making plays on Friday nights. All right, so to start off, we're going to do like we did in season 1. We are going to go 10 through 1 here, and starting off on our list, I have at number 10, I have Cathedral City. Cathedral City, you know, hasn't really been what they have been in the past in terms of in the early 2000s realm, when they were one of the better teams here in the Valley. I know that they have been going through a lot of coaching changes, trying to find an identity, and I think this year this is one of those teams where they can really scare some teams on their schedule with their athleticism and being able to put some points on the board and possibly stop some teams. From what I've heard from Cathedral City is they do have a guy at quarterback that is pretty legit, that will be able to move the ball down the field and lead his team to some wins there. So I'm excited to see what Cathedral City does. Has one of the best color schemes in the Valley, so you always want to see that type of team be able to be successful, except when they're playing Palm Springs. Shout out Palm Springs, go Big Red. So at number 10 is Cathedral City. At number 9, I have Yucca Valley. Yucca is one of those teams, you know, just like in baseball, man, they can be up all the way as far as first place, contending for a title, and then, you know, the wheels could fall off and you know, the season just kind of goes down the drain a bit. But I do think with their leadership at quarterback with Braden Brimhall, I think they're going to be able to do some things offensively. They're always lined up well defensively. They're going to make you work for every yard that you get. They're a physical, tough team. They do have some athletes over there, and having leadership at the quarterback position always helps, man. And I think, you know, just stacking them up, I think Yucca Valley is just a little better on paper than Cathedral City right now. So at number 9, I have Yucca Valley. At number 8, I have Indio. Indio just putting in a new scoreboard over there at their stadium. Looks beautiful. The guys are really fired up about it. The team looks fired up. They have a lot of guys that are tough down there. that are willing to tackle, willing to hit, and willing to fight for the guy next to him. And that's huge on any football team, man. You want to have that camaraderie, that chemistry, and be able to look to the guy on your right and look to the guy on your left and know that that guy is going to fight for you until the very end. And I like what Indio does, man. They're a physical team. They'll get after it, and they'll let you know that they're here to play, man. And, you know, Indio can, week to week, man, it's styles make fights. And, you know, sometimes their style really conflicts with other teams, and that really puts other teams in a bind there. So at number 8, I have Indio. At number 7, I have Rancho Mirage. Rancho Mirage, one of those teams that had early success as a football program, being in a couple of CIF title games, not being able to get the job done there, but came into that big bad DEL league last year and struggled against some of those top teams, man. So I believe that they're looking for some revenge on their plate. They're looking to let the Valley know that they can play some high-end football, and they got some boys over there that are going to be able to play. You know, anchoring that D-line is Marcus Eason, coming out of a transfer coming out of Michigan, you know, being able to help lead that team in terms of getting a pass rush, being able to stop the run. They have Jevin Dorsey back there as one of their DBs that is going to be able to lead from the back end there defensively. And they have even though they are missing David Talley from last year, they do have a talented quarterback back there that can move the ball with his legs. They run that read zone option, and you know, that is lethal if teams aren't disciplined and doing their jobs correctly. So, you know, this just to start, man, it's preseason, I know, and so just for right now, I have to put Rancho Mirage at number 7. At number 6, I have Palm Springs. Palm Springs has not as loaded as you would like for your Indians to be, but man, they got some boys over there on their front defensively, offensively. They got linebackers that like to fly around and hit. They have a senior running back that will get the job done in terms of, I mean, there's no way, it's impossible for a young man like that that's so talented, and Mr. Roberts there, for him not to eclipse the 1,000-yard mark, get himself at least 10 touchdowns. But the key to me there is going to be, like I said earlier, is the quarterback position. What kind of production are they going to get there from their quarterbacks? Are they going to have a guy that just is going to manage the games and be able to be almost like a complement to their running back and their run game? Or are they going to have a guy that is going to be able to make those big plays, not only with his legs, but also in the passing game? That is what's going to be key for Palm Springs to be able to be successful in their division as well as DEL. You know, the way that the way football has been going these days, you know, you got to be able to throw the football, man, for you to win games, especially when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, and both teams are just kind of at a stalemate when it comes to the run game, man. So if you can put yourself over the edge with a good passing attack, that's very tough to stop. So at number 6, I have Palm Springs. At number 5, I have La Quinta. La Quinta, you know, was really searching for some things last year. I think they finally found their guy at quarterback, a guy that can move the offense not only through the air on some quick game and some screens and things like that and play action pass, but a guy that is lethal with his legs. And if he doesn't have his reads, he is going to take off on you, and you are going to be embarrassed in the open field if you give him that opportunity. I also like their defense. They're always going to be a physical defense. They're always going to fly around. They're always going to be nasty on that side of the football. So La Quinta is never a team that you can count out in games, man. It's just a matter of being able to play through it, through all 4 quarters, and being able to stay together, trust the scheme that Coach Bubba has for you, and being able to execute. That's going to be the key for them, and I think that's some of the reasons why they lost some certain games. 1-2 being Coachella, and one being that game-winning drive that Xavier put on at the end of the game to win that one as well. So at number 5, I have La Quinta. At number 4, I have Coachella Valley. And to be honest, I would have put Coachella Valley even higher, obviously we keep talking about Donnie, but had Donnie not have gone down before the season started, I do believe that they're one of the top 3 best teams in the Valley with him on the field. But that doesn't mean that the next guy up can't get the job done. He has some experience playing. He did come in and play against La Quinta and got a win against them last year. So I do believe he's a lefty, on the smaller side type guy, but a guy that knows his reads, gets the ball out quick, and can extend plays with his legs. And when you got a guy like Noah Adon and Rafael Sanchez on the outsides there, it's going to make things a lot easier for you. And surprisingly, we talk about the run and shoot, how it's all offense, all offense, all offense. They do have some boys over there on that defensive side that can make stops, get some turnovers, and help get their offense some extra drives there. So I like CV. I can see them moving up as high as 2 or 3, but I can also see them dropping or falling as far as 6 or 7. So it's going to be a real test for Coachella Valley to see if they're going to overcome losing their superstar quarterback and being able to rally as a football team. So at number 4, I have Coachella Valley. At number 3, I have Xavier Prep. This one is kind of probably a controversial pick, but to be honest, man, with Xavier Prep, they found a way to win games last year, man. They found a way to get to second place in the DEL. First ever DEL, man. They found a way to make it into the playoffs. They found a way to win their opening playoff game. They found a way to win their second round game. And they ran in through a powerhouse team in that Final Four that ended up winning the whole entire CIF championship, man. And doing that all, including having multiple guys throughout the year. I want to say about 3 or 4 guys, losing them to torn ACLs, one of which was at the end of the year their leading tackler in Tommy Brancaneer, right? So, Xavier is a resilient team. Coach Dockery has those guys dialed in terms of being able to trust their scheme defensively, trust what they're doing offensively, understanding that they need to be selfless when they're blocking for each other or making tackles on defense. They're a team that really has come together throughout the years, and now they need to just take that extra step and really prove that they're here to stay. So having them at number 3, not that big of a stretch, but when you see the other schools like LQ, Palm Springs, at 5 and 6, it does raise some eyebrows. But be on the lookout for Xavier Prep, man. They got some special things going on over there. And like I said, when you have that senior leadership at quarterback, that helps calm everyone down, right? So that's one of those big things too that helps Xavier moving forward. And this is going to be a big test for them. Week 1, Xavier Prep has never won their first game ever to start off the season. So that's going to be another challenge, another first for that James Dockery staffing company to be able to mark down on their checklist, man. So it's going to be exciting to see what Xavier can do in this preseason and in league play moving forward. So at number 3, I have Xavier Prep. At number 2, this one too can be a little controversial to me. But from what I've heard, they're all world right now. They got all the tools that they need to be CIF champs. The preseason voters have them picked there at number 2 in their own list respectively. So at number 2, I have Shadow Hills. Shadow Hills, you have the number 1, quote unquote, the number 1 player in the Valley in the Elite 11 with Jake Shipley, leading that defensive side of the ball. You have a hungry quarterback over there who's a senior, who's not going to let his team quit with Hunter Brooks. And you got a very veteran staff that has, transitioned from at one point being at La Quinta to now really taking ownership of this Shadow Hills program and really, giving them some experience that is put on these guys of what it takes to be CIF champs. And if Shadow Hills can continue their dominance in the preseason and now help that carry over into DEL, that Palm Desert Shadow Hills matchup may be for the DEL championship. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what kind of team offensively Shadow Hills is going to be, and what kind of team they're going to allow their defense to be. Just knowing Coach Armstrong, being the defensive guy he is, he likes to throw a lot of blitzes at young quarterbacks. He likes to stifle you and force you to throw on him to win. And that's very difficult to do at the high school level. And he's been doing that for years. So I can see Shadow Hills giving a lot of teams some fits as long as they stay within themselves and try not doing too much. So at number 2, I have Shadow Hills. At number 1, I have, you guessed it, Palm Desert. The guys that have, arguably haven't lost a league game in 2 years. And, with Coach McCombs, getting those guys right, man, they are big up front. And that is a huge, huge positive for them. Being able to be physical up front, both offensively and defensively, being able to set the line of scrimmage either way, and being able to, have guys that have the experience of being in some big time games, that's really going to help them moving forward. So for them, it's being able to, replace all of their seniors that they've lost. They lost a lot of DBs. They've lost some linebackers there. They've lost their quarterback from last year. They lost their all-time leading rusher. So you have to really have some guys step up. And, having that offensive line or defensive line being there to help kind of calm things down is really going to be a big benefit to them, especially early in the season. So I'm excited to see what Palm Desert can do. And I'm also excited to see what these other teams do versus Palm Desert, because that bullseye just year after year is going to keep getting bigger and bigger for Palm Desert, man. So it's going to be very exciting to see what all of these teams do and see if Palm Desert can really continue their reign here in the Valley. So at number 1, I have Palm Desert. And just to recap the list, number 10, Cathedral City. Number 9, Yucca Valley. Number 8, Indio. Number 7, Rancho Mirage. Number 6, Palm Springs. Number 5, La Quinta. Number 4, Coachella Valley. Number 3, Xavier Prep. Number 2, Shadow Hills. And number 1, Palm Desert. And that is your preseason class power rankings. We are going to take one last break here, and then when we come back, we will preview the games coming up this Thursday and Friday, as well as give you a little insight as to why football season is so awesome. So we are going to take this break, and when we come back, this is Class.
The Classic Club, home of the nationally recognized championship course designed by Arnold Palmer, creates a new spin on desert golf with rolling terrain, wide landing areas, and beautiful surprises around every corner. Bellatrix Restaurant and Bar at the Classic Club is the destination for good times and excellent food with Mediterranean, Asian, and French accents. We also feature traditional steaks, seafood, and an extensive wine list. All of this together is what makes the Classic Club the preferred destination for Valley residents and visitors. Come see for yourself.
And we are back in class to wrap up the show, the official kickoff to Season 2, our fall edition with volleyball and football starting up their seasons respectively. And we do have some games coming up this Thursday and Friday for football. Starting it off in the Valley here on Thursday at 7 p.m. at Cathedral City is going to be Polytechnic versus Cathedral City. It's going to be a very good matchup there. Very good to see where Cathedral City stacks up against a very tough program over there. So Cathedral City is going to kick it off here in the Valley there on that Thursday night game. Our Friday games, to start, we have, starting at 6, is Coachella Valley traveling to Foothill. Palm Desert traveling to Beaumont at 7 p.m. Hemet West Valley is traveling to Shadow Hills. Notre Dame Riverside is coming to Xavier Prep. And Palm Springs here is traveling to Desert Vista. And so those for now are our league games to kick off the season. I'm not too sure if this would be considered our 0 week or if it's week 1 or how that works. But these games count. These are our preseason games. The season is in full swing. No more scrimmages. These are live bullets, and we're going to be able to change our rankings and see where our athletes are at, and make sure that we have our individual player of the year. We'll have an official name for it moving forward once we put guys on that list, but we are going to give out our very own version of the high school Heisman here in class. So we are going to make sure that we keep those guys and make sure that changes based on stats, strength of schedule, wins, losses, all of that good stuff, man. So be out there, be on those Friday nights. Go to your alumni games, man. It's going to be awesome to be at these games. There's a lot of good talent here in the Valley, and you're going to see a lot of good football all across it. And it's going to be exciting to see where teams are going to be once league play starts. And that's going to push us into that final question I had earlier. Why is it that football is so exciting, and why everybody gets so ramped up for it? First and foremost, you have to think about, there's not many places in the entire world where you're allowed to hit people and get away with it. You're allowed to, put on the pads and make contact and be able to show your physical skills from one person to another. And I think one of those things that makes it like that, it's almost like the modern day gladiators, man. It's a spectacle. People come out because of the exclusivity. There aren't football games every single day or every other day. This is a once a week thing that, any football player will tell you. You prepare and you practice and you have to study so much more than you actually play in those types of games, just in order for you to be successful. And that is very difficult for people on the outside to understand. So when you come to these games on Friday nights, it is a show. It is entertainment. It is, people want to come out, and you have the food trucks. You have the cheerleaders out here. You have the band doing their thing. And it's a melting pot of everyone that can come together and root for one collective thing. And it's so tough, here in our country right now, being able to, decipher between, who is who and this and all of that. No, we're all here for one common goal. We're all here to root on La Quinta. We're all here to root on Palm Desert. We're all here to root on Palm Springs, man. It's not, I'm going to go sit on this side and just root for one guy or root for this or that or this or I don't like him. No, we're all here together, and it's something special, when you have a successful football program. And I never really understood this, until I left high school, and I actually talked to, people that just went to school and didn't really play football but were at the games. They know who the best players are. They know who's in their classes. They talk about those types of things. And, when you have that sort of pride and you have that sort of, positiveness that you can look forward to every Friday night, that makes a difference throughout the school week. You feel that buzz week to week when you're in class or you're during passing periods. You talk to people or they talk to you. Hey, good luck good luck tonight or good luck this week. That's, the team you're playing is super tough, this, that, and the third. You have teachers, that are excited to be able to teach their student athletes that they see ball out on the field. And it makes everything collectively that much better as a school as a whole. And that's a feeling that you can't really duplicate or get anywhere else. And I think that's why the fall season is so exciting, why football is so exciting, because you have schools starting and everybody is happy about that, and you get into the swing of things. But once you get into those dog days of school where it's week 3, week 4, week 5, you're looking for something to look forward to, and there's nothing better than being able to have mom and dad drop me off on Friday night at 7, to be able to go hang out with my friends and go root on. Maybe my best friend plays that night, or maybe it's fun to see one of my buddies being on the sidelines dressed out, and he's one of the younger guys in our class. It's all of those different factors that lead into those things. And not only that, you have, as a community, you have those younger generations that look up to those guys. I'll never forget, man, that my 8th grade year, right before I was going into high school, number 1 Palm Springs versus number 2 Palm Desert, Friday night, game of the week. It was Scott Saunders, man. It was MD McLean. It was Andy Keene, Jeff B. All of those guys, man. I wanted to be like those guys. I wanted to be able to represent my area, and you had guys from Palm Desert. You had Thomas DeMarco. You had James Dockery's. You had all of those guys, that we all looked up to, and that we all wanted to be just as successful. And that trickles down when you get into, the PDLQ youth football and the Shadow Hills and the Coachellas and the Indios and the Palm Springs. All of those kids go to those games dreaming of those Friday nights, dreaming of being able to be the star for their team, and dreaming to be able to bring that CIF title home to their community. Because I can tell you from experience, man, there's nothing more happy in terms of a 17, 18-year-old kid that loves to play football, that loves to win games, that wants to win championships, and you're at the local Subway on a Wednesday, and they tell you, hey, Mike, good luck tonight, man. It's going to be a tough one, but we're going to be there rooting you on. There's nothing better than that, man. And so I just want that for all of these guys that are able to play this great game that we have here in the Valley, and they deserve to have the spotlight. They deserve to have these people come out to games. They deserve to have these colleges see how good that they can play, see how good their grades are, see how all of that translates and how they can be successful on Saturday afternoons. And it's just, one of the things, and it's one of our main reasons why we even started CLAHS in the first place, man. There's nothing like it. And I think we really need to start appreciating what we have here in the Valley, and that is good athletics at the high school level, and that is very rare. So I think that is a good way to cap off this start of season 2 in CLAHS. We will be having some other things moving forward. We will have recaps week to week. We will be changing our power rankings, and like I said, we will have our CLAHS quote-unquote Heisman rankings week to week as well. So be on the lookout for that. So for everyone here in CLAHS, and for everyone at Coachella Sports and Entertainment Stadium Authority, and here for the beautiful Classy Club, I am Michael KARLS, and CLAHS is dismissed.